emergency cabinet meeting. Always sends a nice little thrill of anticipation down the spine. Someone's in trouble. Someone's going to get it in the neck. But not us, eh?
I'm going to read you a short statement which I shall be issuing later today. I must ask all of you, on your oaths of office, not to reveal the contents of this message to anyone before it is officially released.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Recently, there has been a spate of allegations in the media about my business affairs and those of my family. I have consistently stated, and do so again, that I have done nothing of which I should be ashamed. The implied allegation against me is one of the most serious kind for any holder of public office, that I have used confidential information available to me to enrich my family. I have asked the Cabinet Secretary to undertake a formal, independent investigation, which I am confident will establish my complete innocence beyond any shadow of a doubt. In the meantime, the integrity of the office of Prime Minister has been brought into question, and it is my first duty to protect the integrity of that office. Therefore, I will today ask the permission of Her Majesty the Queen to relinquish the office of Prime Minister as soon as a successor can be chosen. Thank you for your patience. I should also like to take this opportunity of thanking you for your friendship and your loyalty during this difficult time. Those of you, that is, who feel those words apply to you. Francis, I should like to thank you in particular for your valiant efforts over the past week. Only you and I know how much I owe you. I'm only sorry the odds against us were too heavy.
Prime Minister.
Thank you, that's all.
Heartwarming, isn't it, to know one's efforts are appreciated, and they have, after all, been considerable, if not perhaps entirely valiant. Not feeling guilty, I hope. If you have pangs of pity, crush them now. Grind them under your heel like old cigar butts. I've done the country a favor. He didn't have the brain or the heart or the stomach to rule a country like Great Britain. A nice enough man, but there was no bottom to him. His deepest need was that people should like him. An admirable trait, that, in a spaniel or a whore. Not, I think, in a prime minister. And we've done him a favor, too, if you did but know it. He was in the trap and screaming from the moment he took office. We've simply put the poor bastard out of his agony. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. So let's not indulge ourselves in any squeamishness. All right? Because this is just the start. You saw them. You saw their eyes a-glitter round the table. Samuels, Woolton, Harold L., Mackenzie. And every one of them will have to understand that I have their measure, that I put the stick about. I watch them jump. You'll have to excuse me now. I have to make a phone call. One does feel that poor old Hal deserves a proper send-off.
Number 10 Downing Street, and just a few seconds ago, Prime Minister Collingridge left here, heading in the direction of Buckingham Palace, where, according to unconfirmed reports from usually reliable sources, he's about to tender his resignation to Her Majesty the Queen, having held the post for the shortest period of time of any Prime Minister this century. This is Prestatyn Powell, 10 Downing Street, returning you.
Urquhart. Ah, yes, Matty, I had a feeling you might telephone. Well, let's wait for the official statement, shall we? Come to the house at 6. Yes, Matty, my private house. We won't be disturbed there.
All right, thanks. I'll see you then. Goodbye.
Matty!
What?
It's coming through. Recently, there's been a spate of allegations, blah, 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 blah. I have asked the Cabinet Secretary to undertake a formal independent investigation, which I'm confident will establish my complete innocence beyond any shadow of a doubt. Blah, 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 blah. Integrity of the office. Yes, he is going. It's official. Not running away from the allegations. Bollocks. He must have done it, the silly bugger.
I don't see that necessarily means he's guilty.
Well, what else?
He could have been framed.
Framed? Framed? Oh, grow up, Matty. The truth is that everyone is sillier than you could possibly imagine they'd be. What a dickhead. Why didn't he get an advance on his autobiography if he wanted to give his brother 10 grand?
Well, quite exactly.
What the hell is going on here? Have we got anyone in Downing Street?
No point, Grev. He's in the country.
Well, Checkers, then.
No, not Checkers. Undisclosed address.
Sod it.
You told him nothing of the scandal?
Nothing. He wasn't exactly in a state to be told.
Yes. Unfortunately, he saw the news today on television. As I told you on the phone, he's extremely distressed. Suicidally distressed.
He doesn't try to...
He couldn't. We keep a very close eye on our patients. But he's talked about it. He thinks he's responsible, you see. You know he has alcoholic blackouts.
Dear God, you can't commit a fraud and an alcoholic blackout.
I've no idea how he committed the fraud.
What the hell are you implying?
Nothing, Prime Minister. We see all sorts here. I make no moral judgments. I try to make people well. Your brother, as I say, is very distressed. So, if you are in a position to reassure him...
Just show me where he is.
In here?
Charlie.
What?
Hell.
Oh, hell. What's going to happen to us? We're going to go to prison. Listen, I'll tell them that it was all my fault.
It wasn't your fault, Charlie. It wasn't my fault. We'll work it out, don't worry.
Oh, I've cocked everything up for you, Hal.
I'm bloody glad it's over. I'm just so bloody glad I don't have to fight those bastards anymore.
Can I trust you, Matty?
You know you can.
Yes, I think I do know. I've changed my mind, Matty. Between you and me, I think he must be guilty. Not just the evidence. He gave in so easily. We were ready to defend him to the last ditch. He just gave in.
Will there be criminal charges?
I doubt it. No one wants to hound the man into his grave. I think an investigation will find there's not enough to justify a prosecution. Let the poor man crawl away and lick his wounds, away from prying eyes.
I take it that's not to be attributed to you.
Everything we say tonight is unattributable, Matty, completely confidential, not even to be whispered as a secret to your favorite lover.
I don't have a lover.
Well, good.
My editor wants me to find out about the front runners in the race for the succession.
Ah, I'm sure you could tell me who they are.
Michael Samuels, Patrick Walton, Harold Earl, Peter Mackenzie.
Very good, Matty.
You know you could run rings round any of them.
Do I? You're not trying to tempt me, are you?
Yes, I think I am. You're the only senior politician I have any respect for. If you do run, I'd do anything I could to help you.
Would you, Mattie?
I think you know that. I think you know I'd like to do anything you asked me to.
Hardly the words of an independent young woman, Mattie.
Oh, but they are. I'm not anyone's toy. I don't get chosen, I choose. And I'm not interested in anyone's taboos about age. I wanted you the first time I met you.
My wife went down to the country this afternoon.
Yes.
I have an engagement at 9. I can't cancel it.
I don't mind. It's only 7 now. I'm seeing someone myself later.
You will never be able to speak of this to anyone.
Why should I? I don't want to. It's nothing to do with anyone else. I don't know what to call you. There's nothing I can call you.
You can call me Francis.
That's just it, I can't. I don't think of you as Francis. It's so stupid.
Well, you can hardly call me Chief Whip.
I want to call you Daddy.
What?
I want to call you Daddy.
See him again, sir?
Might as well.
More poppadoms?
No, I'll order.
Let's see. Butter chicken, sag bhaji, cucumber raita, elbow the fried rice, and add a naan.
Brilliant. How'd you guess?
Easy. You always order the same bloody thing. Maybe you'd like some different music. I've got Joe Cocker.
Oh no, definitely not. There are some things a gentleman never discusses. Quick as you can, please, driver. I'm running rather late.
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thursday, October 21st, 6:30. On my way to see Deep Throat. Hello, this is Mattie Storin. Is a Mr. John Krajewski there, please? Yes, the butter chicken man. Oh, right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Can I trust you, Mattie?
You know you can.
Yes, I think I do know.
Interesting times, Francis. Interesting times. Yes? come on, come on.
In China, I understand it's cursed to live in interesting times.
Is that so? Well, I guess Collingridge would drink to that, eh? What an asshole. Not much fight left in this guy. Bring us another bottle, will you? You all right? You got what you wanted?
Absolutely, Ben.
Doesn't look much to me. Now, Francis, what I want to know is, are you gonna stand for the leadership?
Ben, it's far too soon to say. The situation's very delicate, and if we could just keep our voices down a little.
All right. Let me put it this way. Do you want it?
Yes, I do.
That's good.
I also know I'm the best man for the job.
You sure as shit better be. Right, Saturday in the Chronicle, we're doing a big feature on the probable runners. Got a girl called Maddie Storin doing it. Clever little kid. Do you know her at all, Francis?
I think so. Yes, of course I do.
She tried to mug me in the bar of the Grand Hotel in Brighton. I give her something to cry about. Anyway, what this piece is going to say, whether Miss Storin likes it or not, is that little Mikey Samuels has taken an early lead in the polls, and he's running around telling the world he's got the whole thing sewn up.
How do you know he's taken an early lead?
I don't know whether he has or not. I'm just telling you what we're putting in the paper. Now, do you think that'll irritate the shit out of people or what?
Yes, Ben, I think it would. My colleagues would react very badly to that kind of arrogance.
Because you need a better time, my friend. We've got to build you up. Backbenchers may think you're a great guy, but they're not going to go back to the sticks and vote for Mr. Francis Nobody from nowhere, am I right?
Yes, you are.
Anything you can do to slow things down a bit?
Well, Humphrey Newlands will run the election, but he's very dependent on my advice. And the timing of the ballot is in the hands of the Prime Minister.
And he's taking your advice at this time, is what I hear.
If only he'd consulted me earlier, I would have been able to help him.
I know. Tragic, right? Now listen to me, Francis. I'll be straight with you. You're my man, but I could do business with Patrick Woolton. I know I could. Pat Woolton as PM would not be a bad result for Ben Landless. Now, if you can't make it up with the leaders by, say, this time next month, I'll dump you. But if you can come good with a late run, I'll put the whole Ben Landless operation behind you, boy. And I'll expect your lifelong goddamn gratitude. Do I make myself clear?
Eminently clear, Ben.
Hi.
Morning.
Read your piece. Looks good. Greb's got it now. What time did he send it?
2 this morning. Oh, sorry, John.
It's all right. Had time to do some thinking.
Me too. I was silly, John. Collingridge framed. And anyway, who cares? Yesterday's man. It's history now. I gather they're not going to take the investigation awfully seriously, going easy on him. Tories can be quite humane sometimes. It's amazing.
What? They're going easy on the investigation. Doesn't that seem strange to you?
Oh, come on, John. I'm the one with the conspiracy theory and the paranoid politics, not you.
Now, think about it. Henry Collingridge had the means, but not the motive. Charlie had the motive, but he didn't have the wit to play any part at all in a fraud. And if you were doing it, would you use your own name? You've met Charlie Collingridge, haven't you?
I had a few drinks with him at Brighton.
What was he like?
Very nice, actually. I thought he was rather sweet.
Do you think he talked to you now?
I don't know. Anyway, we don't know where he is.
Oh, yes. We do, actually. Recognize anyone there?
Well, Charles Collingridge, obviously Mrs. Collingridge. Wait a minute. Tim Stamper, MP for Shotover, hard right. One of the government whips.
What about him?
No idea.
Here he is again. And again. And again. His name is Dr. Andrew Christian, and he runs a private clinic not far from Dover. Very flash place, apparently. They get royalty, rock stars, very good trade from both houses of Parliament. So, fancy a trip to Kent?
Yes, I know. Very irritating still to be waiting on yesterday's man. But even a disgraced Prime Minister has his uses. So it becomes us to be humble and honest, good old Francis Urquhart still, doggedly devoted. Such a comfort in a crisis.
The Prime Minister will see you now, Mr. Urquhart.
Thank you.
Francis.
Prime Minister.
My dear fellow, do sit down. Now tell me, is it true what I read in the newspapers?
What, Prime Minister?
That Samuels and Billsborough are dancing in my grave already?
That would be to put it most unkindly. Samuels hasn't even declared his candidacy yet, no one has, but he has a head start. If it's a short race, he must be an odds-on favourite.
Well, let's make sure it's a long race. No, Francis, that man Billsborough betrayed my trust in every way. And now he wants to deny the party a free and fair election.
That's a little strongly put, but it does rather look as though Teddy still wants to pull the strings. A little delay would give us a chance for sober and mature reflection. Yes. Slow the pace down. Enjoy your last few weeks in office. You deserve it. You owe it to yourself, Prime Minister.
Are you thinking of offering yourself as a candidate, Francis?
What, me? Oh, no. I'm just a backroom boy.
Don't underestimate yourself. I've come to think very highly of you. So highly that if you did stand, you'd have my personal support.
Hal, that touches me more than I can say. But no, I really can't see myself as a candidate for the highest office. Each to his own, you know. I know my place.
Excuse me, you're not by any chance a member of staff, are you?
No, I'm...
Just visiting, like me. So sorry. Seem to have lost my wife. You haven't seen anyone around who looks as if she might be the wife of a chap like me, have you?
no, I'm afraid not. I'm looking for my uncle.
Over there, I expect. That's where the uncles congregate. They're all perverts, of course. Nonsense to a man, every last one of them. Good afternoon to you, my dear. Filth. Filth. You and me together. Total blank. Was I, all right? Did I sort of behave?
Yes, you were charming.
Not too bad today. A bit shaky. Haven't had a drink, you see. Oh, it's all right, but time does pass very slowly. When you're drunk, you're never bored. Did you know that? You may bore other people, but the moments slip by in such a satisfactory manner. I don't really see how I could have bought any shares. I haven't got enough money, for one thing.
Your brother might have given you the money.
Did give me money. Does.
He gave you the money. He gave you the money to buy the shares.
No, not that sort of money, no. No, he gives me £50 when I'm short, sometimes 100. Best brother in the world, Hal. Enough said. End of story.
Have you ever bought any shares at all?
No, good Lord, no. No, I leave that to the clever chaps. If I've ever done any gambling, it's been on the GGs, and I'm not much cop at that. No, there's not too much going on up here, Matty. That's the trouble.
What about the accommodation address at Paddington? What was that for?
You tell me. I don't go to Paddington. Isn't that where the Welsh people go to catch trains?
Yes, it is. And the accommodation address was to receive communications from the Ottoman Union Bank and to receive party literature from the Conservative Central Office.
Party literature? Do you mean people send for it? People pay for it?
Apparently. Apparently you did.
Well, what would I want party literature for?
I don't know.
Very boring stuff. Strictly between you and I. Now, don't you tell Hal I said that. I wouldn't offend him for the world. Hello. I do remember you now. We met in the bar of the Grand, and I said you looked like Kate.
That's right, your daughter.
Yes. Probably went on a bit about her. Normally do go on about Kate when I'm pissed. Lovely girl. I haven't been a very good dad to her, but do you suppose that she'd come and visit me here one day? I do miss her.
I would if it was me.
Would you?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Christian. No, I'm very grateful. Goodbye. Come on. Ah, Roger. Francis Urquhart. Sorry to disturb you at home. I hope it's not inconvenient.
No, good of you to call, Francis. Actually, I was asleep. I had a late night. I took a pill. What? Oh, no. No, I don't do that sort of thing. That's not my line at all.
John. Matty. Yes. Found the place, found Collingridge. John, either he's the best actor in the world or he knows nothing about the shares. Yes. Hold on a minute. I think there's something funny happening outside.
Good.
Hey, it's over now. They've gone. Have a bit more of this.
sorry. Our fearless reporter. I'm not fearless, John. I don't like this. I had this book when I was a kid at school. Kirsty McAllister, crime reporter. When the baddies threatened Kirsty, it made her all the more determined to find out the dreadful truth. I thought she was great. Kirsty McAllister with her flatties and her boyish curls and her little ring-bound notebook. I thought I'd be just like her. But I'm not. I'm not like her. I don't want my pretty face broken. I want to stop this game.
Hey, you can. I think you should.
Really? I thought you were the big investigator.
Up to a point, Lord Copper. I know how it feels, Matty. I got personally threatened once when we were doing the arms thing. I was off solid food for 6 weeks, asked to be taken off the story.
I don't know. Anyway, thanks for coming round, John. You're an angel.
An angel? Did you know angels are reputed to have no sexual organs?
Is that right?
Totally smooth down there. Must solve a hell of a lot of problems.
Yes. Sorry.
You're dead beat, aren't you?
Sorry. It must be past your bedtime, too. You can go on home if you like. I'm okay now.
Not a bit of it. I'm staying the night.
There's no need to.
Yes, I think there is.
I can't offer you anywhere comfortable to sleep.
Can't you? It was me you turned to when you needed help when you were frightened.
Yes.
Not him.
Who?
Well, whoever he is. Why is it me for this and him for the other thing? I'm sorry, it's none of my business. I'm sorry, Matty.
I wouldn't bother him with this. And he wouldn't be able to come. He isn't free to come.
Too grand, is he, or what?
Don't be like that, John. It wouldn't work with you. Sex, I mean. You're easy to be with. You're not dangerous. You're my best friend, John. I couldn't have it off with my best friend. It would be embarrassing. Sorry. Honest. Okay?
Well, ask a silly question.
Do you still want to stay?
Do you still want me to?
Yes, please. I don't want to be by myself tonight.
Well, I will then.
You can come on my bed if you like. Just
to be comfortable.
That's right. Enough said. End of story.
And the contest for the Tory leadership is now officially on. This morning, Michael Samuels, unofficially tipped as the front runner for some days, went on record at last.
Yes, I'll be standing.
With respect, Mr. Samuels, don't you think you're rather young to be Prime Minister?
Perhaps I am. I'll leave that to the judgment of my colleagues. I hope that what I lack in years might be balanced by energy and a freshness of ideas.
In contrast to your predecessor, Henry Collingridge.
No, I won't be drawn into that. Though I do find encouragement in remembering that Disraeli and Pitt were both younger than me when they first came into power.
Disraeli, Pitt and Samuels? Chumped up little turd.
Doesn't sound all that modest, does he? Poor fellow just doesn't do himself justice.
We must match fine words with finer deeds if we are not to fail our children and our children's children.
Mr. Earl's speech was widely interpreted as a coded attack on Michael Samuels, who is, of course, Minister for the Environment, and many observers are confidently expecting a speech from Mr. Samuels about the shortcomings of state schools under Mr. Earl's ministry. In sharp contrast to all this was the statesmanlike attitude adopted by Francis Urquhart, the popular chief whip.
What, me? Oh, no. I'm just a backroom boy. Plenty of able men about, after all. Plenty of ambitious men, too. No, We'll take our time about it, and we'll come up with the right choice in the end.
Fine. First class. Excellent. Let them cancel each other out, right?
That did rather cross one's mind, I must confess.
I shall have to do more than that once Pat Woolton gets in the ring.
But I'd be proud to serve under Patrick Woolton, Tim. I don't want to be Prime Minister. Bloody awful job.
Oh, quite. Much nicer to be a whip. Know all the little secrets. Put some stick about, eh?
Make 'em jump.
Whip's office, Stamper here. Hold on, please. It's your little friend, Miss Storrin of the Chronicle. You want to take it?
You called the police, of course.
No.
Why not?
Because I was frightened to. They were trying to frighten me, whoever they were, and they did.
Of course, forgive me. You must have been very upset.
Oh, yes, I was. But look, it must be a conspiracy against Collingridge and his brother, mustn't it?
Yes, I believe now that it must be. Mattie, you trust me, don't you?
You know I do.
Will you leave this to me? I have access to sources of information, and I couldn't bear to think of you being damaged in any way.
Is Mrs. Urquhart in London at the moment?
She's in the country, Mattie. I would be anxious about letting you go back to your flat alone tonight.
Yes.
I hope you wouldn't think it improper if I invited you to spend the night here.
I don't bloody well care if it's improper or not.
Mattie?
What?
I like the things you say. So hard to know who to trust in these suspicious days. Does passion engender trust? Not necessarily. And yet we all would wish to feed on certainties, to hear the word always and believe it true. She trusts me absolutely, I believe. I trust she does. And I trust her absolutely, to be absolutely human.
You say you want to help him? Last time I talked to you, your paper attacked him.
That wasn't anything to do with me. I think he's been framed through the computer system here.
No, that's impossible. No one from outside can access it.
How about from inside? Charles Collingridge is supposed to have ordered literature from Central Office and had it delivered to an address in Paddington, right?
Yes, I checked it as soon as I heard. It's there all right, look. Charles Collingridge, 216 Parade Street, Paddington West 2.
What do the numbers mean?
The first one says he takes everything we put out. The second says he's fully paid up from the beginning of this year.
Could that have been done by someone inside this building?
No.
Without making the payment?
No, not from here. Hold on, let me check something else. He's never paid for the literature service. He's only on the distribution file, not on the payment file.
Can you find out when he first appeared on the distribution file?
Two weeks ago.
After his brother resigned. When he was already in the clinic, so... somebody in this building
It would have to be.
made it look as if Charles Collingridge had been subscribing since January the 1st.
Yes.
Kevin,
What?
don't talk to anyone about this.
I wasn't about to.
You're not going to print it! Why not?
Because there's nothing there, Mattie. There's no hard evidence at all.
What do you want? Look, someone altered the computer files at Central Office to link Charles Collingridge with the Parade Street address. They did that 2 weeks ago, Greville. It's there on the printout. And the same person must have opened the account at the Ottoman Union Bank in Charles Collingridge's name. That's easy. Anyone could have done that. But altering the computer files at central office after the share deal, that had to be someone right inside the party machine. Someone who wanted to get rid of Collingridge.
Well, Hal Collingridge could have done that himself. Confuse the evidence, muddy the waters.
He's not computer literate enough to do a thing like that. This is an Oxford Arts man we're talking about. This is a man who can't use a cash card machine.
So he got someone else to do it for him.
He thought it worth his while to do that, even after he resigned.
Matty, get it into your head. There isn't a story here. It was a nice try, but you haven't even given me any names.
You can't see what's in front of you. It's a sensational story.
Matty, I'm getting tired of being told how to do my job by the latest teenager from the sticks. Well, now's as good a time as any. I've been thinking about your next career move, Matty.
Oh?
I'd like to see some new thinking in our cookery and home interior pages. What's bright and sparkly in the shops for her indoors, that sort of thing. Spot the latest trend in street smart knitwear.
You've been got at, haven't you? Was it landless again?
Look, I've been told about your conspiracy theories. Life doesn't work out like that, Matty. Especially political life. It's real and dull and earnest. Now, 20 things you never thought you could do with a wok. That's where an imagination like yours could really make its mark.
No, thank you, Greville. I didn't come to London to write the woman's page.
I don't think you understand, Matty. You haven't any say in this. I'm taking you off the political staff for your own good as well as for the good of the paper.
I'll resign and take this to another paper.
Not for 3 months, you won't. Read your contract of employment. Look, I know you're bursting to resign. Be sensible. Wait until you've got another job to go to. Yes, I have been. It's all ready. This country needs a leader with maturity, with a sense of discretion, with a proven record of reliability. There is at least one senior figure in the party who has all these qualities, and in recent weeks has been almost unique in setting aside personal ambition in the cause of the dignity of government
and the long-term interest of his party. He has announced that it is not his intention to seek election as leader of the party, but he still has time to reconsider before nominations close on Thursday. We believe it would be in the best interests of all concerned if the Chief Whip, Francis Urquhart, were to stand and be elected.
Admirable. Ladies and gentlemen, I've read this morning's Chronicle with quite a little bit of interest and surprise. As I think most of you know, I've always been happiest as a backroom boy, serving the government behind the scenes. However, it would be unpardonably arrogant of me to disregard the urgings of so many of my colleagues. This has all come as a great surprise to me. I hope you'll forgive me if I take a little time to consider my future course of action. I need a little time to myself, and to talk this over with my wife, Elizabeth. Her views will be the most important of all to me in making my decision, and I'm afraid that's all I have to say. Until tomorrow.
Excellent.
Thank you, my dear.
Quite a little touch of Richard of Gloucester at Baynard's Castle.
Shine out, fair sun. Should I have been discovered with 2 priests, do you think?
Not with the state the Church of England's in today. Unpardonably arrogant to disregard the wishes of the public. That was good.
Yes, I must confess I thought so too.
For all that, you're still well behind Samuels and Woolton, are you not?
So far, it's all in hand, Elizabeth.
Good. I didn't see your little friend out there, the one from the Chronicle.
No. I'm giving her a private audience tomorrow evening.
I see. Can we trust her, Francis?
Oh, yes. I think we can.
Hello. Hello, Matty. The usual. Whiskey, please. How's it going?
Not brilliant. Oh, it's too depressing to think about. I want to know what all this is about Francis Urquhart.
God knows. Greb seems completely sincere, utterly convinced that Urquhart should be the next Prime Minister. Presumably because Ben Landless has told him what to think. Do you think it's such a daft idea, voting for Urquhart?
No. I happen to think he's very underrated. I think he makes a very potent contribution.
And he might just slip through the middle, the man least disliked. The politician with no politics. Just a good chap to have about you in a tight spot, yeah?
Yeah, the last of those, certainly. But why should Landless be backing an outsider?
I don't know. You think that Patrick Woolton would give him all he wants, and Woolton's a front runner.
Ben Landless is the kind of man who just likes power for its own sake. He supported Collingridge while it suited him, then he suddenly turned round and ditched him.
Or maybe he had an advance tip about the Mendox shares scandal.
Maybe he was involved in the frame arm.
Maybe Urquhart was as well.
No, not Urquhart.
Why not? What makes you so sure?
I just know, that's all. That sort of thing. That wouldn't be him at all.
Fine. Be careful, Matty.
I am careful.
Whoever it was, they know you found Charles at the clinic. They may know you took the story to Greville Preston. Whoever it was, they won't just be tasty villains, Matty. These will be people with inside knowledge, people with friends in high places.
I know. But if they've got all that inside information, they'll know I'm no danger anymore. Greville's taken me off the story and I can't get another job, and anyway... maybe I've got friends in high places, too.
Matty.
All right, John. I will be careful. Mr. Granger, then? I see. And there's no one else from the press office available? All right. Is there anyone else you could suggest? The director of publicity, that's Mr. O'Neill, right? Yes, I met him at Brighton. Could you transfer me? Thanks.
Director of Publicity's office. This is Penny Guy speaking. How can I help you?
Hello, my name's Matty Storin. Could I speak to Roger O'Neill, please?
Sorry, who did you say?
Matty Storin.
I thought you were a man.
Well, sorry. Could I speak to Roger O'Neill, then?
No, he's not in this morning. He called in sick. Look, can you come over now?
Yes, all right. I mean, if you think it's worth my while. I would rather speak to Mr. O'Neill in person.
No, you wouldn't. Believe me. Look, do you mind if we meet outside? Corner of Great Peter Street and Mill Bank.
All right. See you then. Goodbye.
I had no idea you were a woman. Roger just said someone needed a short, sharp shock.
Why should he do a thing like that?
I don't know. I suppose he owed someone a favor. Look, you have to believe me, Matty. Roger wouldn't hurt a fly. I thought he was the one who was going to get hurt. I only went to look after him. Do you believe me?
I don't know.
I'll pay for the damage to your car and anything extra you think is fair for upsetting you. Honestly, he could never hurt a woman, not physically. Look, Matty, I'll tell you how it is. The state he's in now, if you go to the police with this, he'd kill himself. I really believe that.
Why is he in such a state?
I think he blames himself about that share business. And that wasn't his fault at all. He idolized Henry Collingridge. He'd have done anything to help him.
So why should he blame himself?
Charles Collingridge wanted an address for his private mail. Roger and I fixed it up for him. And then it turns out that the old bugger was using it for his iffy share deals as well. Rog thinks he's all to blame. So what with one thing and another, he's cracking up. It's like dealing with a baby.
Why do you put up with him?
I love him, don't I?
She just blurted it all out and sort of threw herself on my mercy. She must have thought I recognized him the other night. I was just ringing O'Neill because the press office wouldn't speak to me.
And you believed her?
Yes, I did. The way she told it, neither of them thought they were doing anything terribly wrong. She certainly didn't. I felt sorry for her. She's obviously in love with him, and it was him she was worried for, not herself. She begged me not to go to the police. She said he'd kill himself. She made him sound a bit unstable, to say the least.
Ah, yes. I do understand between the two of us that Mr. O'Neill has a small cocaine problem.
What?
As Chief Whip, it's one's business to get to know these things.
Is it?
So that one can move swiftly to help if necessary. It's much more common than one might think, sadly. Easy availability, a life of constant stimulus and pressure. And, of course, when you spend your time in Smith Square, the House of Commons, and the clubs of Pall Mall, it's all too easy to fall into bad company,
What should I do?
Well, let's see. You now have firm evidence of a conspiracy, but you have no access to a newspaper which will print it. And you have a further problem. You'd like to save Penny Guy from criminal charges in connection with this, am I right?
Yes.
But about O'Neill, you're not so sure what to do, are you?
I don't care all that much what happens to him, but I would like to do something for her. It just doesn't seem possible, does it?
Someone is clearly working O'Neill. From what you've told me about his condition, I guess it wouldn't take much to get him to tell us who it is. When we know that, we'll be in a much better position to know what to do. Would you like me to have a word with him, Mattie?
Would you?
It might take a few days before he's ready to cooperate completely, but I believe he will. Would you be prepared to leave all that to me, Mattie?
You know I would. You're the only person I could trust to do it.
That was what you wanted all along, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Am I so transparent?
Not at all. Very manipulative, I would say. You seem to be able to get me to do anything you like.
Do I?
So let me ask your advice. Should I accept the nomination and run for leader of the party?
Yes, you should.
Well, it seems I have no choice.
Is Mrs. Urquhart in the country this evening?
Not this evening, Mattie. Mrs. Urquhart is in town.
And at home?
And at home, Mattie.
I wish she were in the country. And you do too, don't you? Don't you?
You might well think that, Mattie. I couldn't possibly comment.